My fellow Americans, I have a message for you, and I want you to honestly listen to me. Sometimes I post things online with facts, and I get a response, usually a negative response. The country's divided. I get it. And if I don't say what I am, a Republican, then everybody's going to attack me, including the Democrats. But the issues that we are having right now, I'm trying to bring light on our fact that I just want to wing it, but I want to speak to you from the heart. As you can see, I'm a professional. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I'm known as a Puerto Rican cowboy. I have better things to do, but I honestly feel compelled to alert the public. One thing I can say about me is that I've always been maybe a little different because while you are watching sports, looking at how many touchdowns your favorite team has and all that, I'm always reading. That's just who I am. Unfortunately, I cannot articulate a lot of times what I want to convey, which is why I'm a writer. I'm an author. I write better than what I speak. I've always known that I'm a little, I don't know if it's slightly autistic. I know when I was younger, I had a couple of issues in which learning, and they took me to special specialists and all that, but that's not what I'm speaking about. But I see things differently than a lot of most people. It's almost like a puzzle. I see what's going on and I'm able to create a picture, right? Based on the puzzle, right? You have little pieces of puzzle and I'm able to see a bigger picture. And because I have read so many stuff in history, I tend to remember or recall a couple of things that most of you may not recall. So what I do is I go online and express or speak about history because I honestly believe that history repeats itself. Some people see life or time as linear, where I see it as circular, and it really does repeat itself. And because of that, I want to address because many of you want to follow a man or trust a man too much. And I say that I'm a Republican because I believe on the constitutional rights. I'm very adamant about that. But at the same time, although we have voted, a lot of us voted for Trump, there's certain things that concern me. And I kind of knew, I saw it, I felt it, but I went for what is called the lesser of two evils, right? I voted for the lesser of two evils. There was a couple of concerns, but I honestly now believe that we definitely been lied to. And I told my family, I said, who knows, with everything going on, who knows if it's even the Antichrist? And I'm not here to bash Trump because if I do that, what happens is you guys going to get mad. You may even call like you do a liberal and all that. And it's not true. But the fact is, what happens is when you are emotional, you're now upset. You're a reptilian brain activist. You can look that up. And now what that means is that you become less educated at the moment, right? And your wisdom or smartness or alertness goes down as well, right? You're not thinking logically, right? So this is why I want to tell you to try to stay in the spirit of love so maybe you can understand a little more. And listen to me, because what I want to speak to about has to do with the Enemy Act that was used in 1798. I want you to listen to this because, again, I said history repeats itself. And if you see, we're using something that was repelled before, and there was consequences to this act. It was unconstitutional. It was already determined many times prior. Then why are we using it again? That's just for me asking you questions to open up your mind. I don't want to tell you how to think like the media does, who's owned by these elites. So they are misleading us and misguiding us. The world has woken up and they are against us. And I'm not going to get to that too. I just want you to hear me out. So here it goes. In regards to the Alien Enemy Act of 1798, this is a legal and historical overview. The Alien Enemy Act of 1798 was one of the four laws passed under the Alien and Sedition Acts during the presidency of John Adams. While other three acts expired or were repealed, the Alien Enemy Act remained in effect until codified in 50 United States Code, subsection 21 to 24. Keep in mind, guys, that whatever I'm saying is because it's already been validated, but I get it. If you're skeptical, what I ask you to do is go to an artificial intelligence site such as ChatGPT and confirm what I'm saying. Okay, because some people say, oh, where's your sources? Well, in today's world, you go to ChatGPT, which is very accurate, by the way. And, it's intelligence, artificial intelligence, and you could confirm or deny what I'm conveying here. Now, what does the Enemy Act do? the law grants the United States government the power to detain, deport, or restrict the movement of non-citizens alien from a country for which the United States is at war. The law applies to people who have not been naturalized as United States citizens. However, it has historically been misused against American citizens, violating constitutional rights. Now, I say this because I wrote an article about it's okay to be wrong, and I show how American citizens are being detained, arrested, especially Puerto Ricans, right, which are Americans, born citizens, but because they speak language, they're being racially profiled and discriminated against. And I'm going to prove to you, based on the Enemy Act, that that's what Trump started implementing now. So listen carefully. Historical uses and abuses of the act. World War I, 1917 to 1918. After the United States entered to World War I, the law was invoked to arrest and deport German immigrants in the United States. Many were detained without due process simply for their German heritage. We all know about World War II, I hope. It was 1941 to 1945, where Japanese American interments, after the attack of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066, citing national security concern. The government used the Alien Enemy Act as justification to forcibly relocate, imprison over 120 Japanese American, two-thirds of whom were actual United States citizens. They lost their home, businesses, and property without due process or any evidence of disloyalty. Okay, also in Karumatsu versus the United States in 1944, the Supreme Court at the time ruled that the internment was constitutional, which was later condemned, and I'll get into that. So we already know that this was used many times and it affected American citizens, from Germans to Japanese, a fact, right? But it was supposed to be only for alien. This is history repeating itself. There's also, I could get even deeper, and I will be posting this thing because if I start reading everything that I have here, you guys are probably gonna not listen to me and just disregard. So I want to put it up here so you could actually read it, slow it down, pause it, whatever you have to do, so you could do your own due diligence and research and see why America is in trouble. It's a lot more. I have my own YouTube channel. I have articles and videos on a lot of other stuff going, including who's really running our nation. Both parties, they Democrat to Republican, do not represent we the people. They represent an elite, and it's proven. And we know this because where are we right now? We are somewhere where we are complicit of genocide and war crimes, and we're putting our servicemen in harm's way. But that being stated, let's continue. Government apology and reparations. Listen to that. In 1988, under President Ronald Reagan, the United States government officially apologized for the internment camps through the Civil Liberties Act and paid $20,000 in reparation to each surviving victim. The acts acknowledged the detainment of Japanese Americans was based on race prejudice, war hysteria, and the failure of political leadership. Now, we know that it was repealed. We know that it was unconstitutional based on a lot of other facts that I won't continue reading. And we know this even happened in Germany. And we know what happened. By the way, if you think it was just Jews and if 6 million, listen, I could show you articles about history repeating itself, and there's a lot more, and I'm not going to get into that because maybe you're going to shut me down. But the fact is, it was blacks, it was authors, it was Jehovah Witnesses. So there was a lot of people that was detained, but it started because allegedly the good for the country. And there's a lot more. There was stuff going on with the Rothschild, the dynasty, Rothschild, that were running Germany, that they believed that these banks, international banks, affected Germany. And that's why 50% of Germans didn't have employment and all that. So obviously it created the people to actually follow and believe, but to what cost? They end up having 100% employment after that. But how many people suffered? And we all know some of the history. Right? Remember, his story. The victor tell you their story, and it's not usually the truth. There's a lot more that happened. But why the enemy Why the Alien Enemy Act is dangerous today? Potential for abuse. The law remains in effect and can be used in times of war or conflict without due process protection, leading to arbitrary detainment. All right. Now, violations of the United States Constitution. The Fifth Amendment guarantees due process before depriving anyone of, you know what the word anyone means? Because sometimes a lot of Americans have this misconception that it only applies for us Americans. You're mistaken, including the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights. What is unalienable rights? God-given rights, okay? Natural rights, right? That among these are what? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it goes on and tells you what they expect from you, because eventually when your rights are deprived, you have a constitutional rights to defend yourself. And there's more. So please read the Declaration of Independence. But again, I continue. The Fifth Amendment guarantees due process before depriving anyone of life, liberty, or property. The Sixth Amendment ensures a fair trial and the right to face one's accuser. The 14th Amendment guarantees equal protection under the law. Now, null and void under the constitutional supremacy. The Supremacy Clause, Article 6 of the Constitution states that any law violating the Constitution is null and void. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution, that discriminates, that anything that is not constitutional, is as if it didn't exist, null and void. You don't have to legally comply to that. Okay. And yes, I know our system has gotten away a lot with that, including with what is called due process of law. I've written on that as well. You can find me on Facebook, because due process of law. And when you get pulled over, it ain't about assumptions or because I expect. There's certain procedures that's supposed to follow according to the Constitution. And we all know that, I'm sorry, a lot of police officers, although they may have well intentions, they abuse that power. Right? And the power that the Constitution gives them is not absolute power. That's a mistake that a lot of people don't understand. All right? But null and void. Now, laws like the Alien Enemy Act that violates constitutional rights should be struck down. Conclusion. A warning for the future. The Alien Enemy Act was wrong in the past and remains dangerous today. As invoked, it could lead to unlawful detainment of innocent Americans under pretext of national security. And this is why I'm educating the public, because this is crucial to prevent history from repeating itself. And I could tell you, I wrote some articles. Again, I'm not going to drag this out. I could show you some about Germany. Okay. I want you to do your due diligence and research. But it all started because I was speaking about standing up for unity. Because if we stand for something, if we don't, we fall for anything. All right. And whether you follow someone or not, whether you are Republican, or you are Democrat, the fact is we have a supremacy law that is called the United States, or the Constitution of the United States. Okay. And that is law above all law. Our founding fathers put it. There's a lot more. And many of you do not know history. You don't know why these laws were implemented, because it's part of history. And if you knew that, you will understand why our rights has been dissolving throughout the years and decades, okay? And they're encroaching on our constitutional rights. And these are a fact. Now, there's a lot that happened from the disappearance of 48 individuals in New Mexico, from Puerto Rican veterans, and I mean Puerto Rican American citizen born, been detained, okay, and not believe that he was American. And that's just there's more than one. But let me give you one about the 200 Venezuelan asylum seekers that was sent to El Salvador. They never got a fair trial, guys. And if you are that racist, because I get it, I myself don't want illegal aliens crossing the border. We have to secure the borders. I mean, we can't just let everybody in. But that's been stated. There's people here that have permanent green cards or came through asylum or any other reasons, and they have been illegally detained without due process, without a judicial warrant, which is unconstitutional. And we know this to be a fact under the disguise of the guys, right, that they are from Tren de Aragua, gang members. And that's a factual wrong. It is incorrect. How I know that? Can some of them be from the gang? Yeah, maybe. But I tell you what, I know this for a fact. There was a professional soccer player. His name, you could research this, is called Jersey Reyes Barrios. I'm going to put it up there. Whose attorney, Lynette Tobin, has filed sworn statements and affidavit. Why? Because this guy came here illegally as an asylum seeker, professional soccer player, well known, who was detained and taken to El Salvador, guys. That's just one guy. It's under false pretense without a fair trial. How many more guys we got like that? Do you understand the type of the way they treat their prisoners over there? And for God's sake, what is with us sending these alleged criminals, if you want to call it that way? And I'm against criminals, but the problem is I believe in fair process. I believe in the Constitution. Because again, what's not to say without trial that they're actually guilty? We're sending them to even another country. We're sending them some to Cuba, to Guantanamo Bay. For God's sake, guys, I mean, if you're human, wake up. I belong to the human race. Before I'm in America, before anything else, I am human, and I belong to the human race. Okay? If you look at your blood, your DNA surely has blood from everybody else. I am what is called Puerto Rican, but my ancestry was what? Taino indigenous people, Native Americans from America. And we were mixed. Obviously, I could tell by the skin of my color. But that being said, I'm for the human race. And what we're doing right now is unjustifiable. It's unconstitutional, guys. There's a lot more. We are invading other countries. We are attacking other countries. We are complicit to genocide. We are complicit to war crimes. And who's allowing this if it ain't Donald Trump right now? And yet I honestly could tell you I voted for him. I doubted him, but I saw him as the lesser of two evils. I took the chance. He spoke a lot of great things. And again, maybe everything he's doing now is not the same, is necessarily bad. But he right now is really acting like a dictator. Sorry, guys. Look what we're doing. America first. Lie. America first? Why were you supporting a genocidal regime such as Israel right now? Why are we attacking Houthis who are trying to prevent Israel for committing war crimes against Gaza and telling them, no, as long as you feed the people and allow these people our food to come in, we'll stop again like we did, right? What is going on, guys? Wake up. This looks to me like history repeating itself. It looks like Germany, what happened in Germany. And a lot of these people are being detained. You don't know who they are. You think it's fair that they can't call their family. They have no due process, that they can't call an attorney to verify or see how, or the family could see how they are. That could be your father, your mother, your sister, right? They first came for the immigrants, and then they're going to come for the protesters, and eventually they're going to come for you. Remember my words. And that war you see that divides Mexico from the United States, although we stole 55% of their country, that war you see is going to be to keep you here as a prisoner. We need to stop this. We need to wake up, because this is unconstitutional. As soon as he said taking away the citizenship for second born or people that are born to parents that are immigrants, I already knew, because I know the history. And many of you don't know history. You know sports. You lack. You don't read. You don't read. And even history could be fake. You got to get into both sides so you can make an educated and informed decision. Guys, I hope you wake up. I'm putting all these information up so you can research. And in today's technology and world, if you choose to be naive, that's on you. And you pay your consequences with God or whatever's going to happen to our country, because whatever harm we put out there is going to come back to haunt us. That I guarantee. I feel what's going to happen. I know we're eventually going to attack Iran. I saw this many years ago. I've written, I have videos on that. Okay, so I know what's going to come. But I'm just trying to warn you as a human being. Wake up to the Christ consciousness. It has nothing to do with religion. Because even that, you can Google and search. You could use Chat GPT. It's free. Unless you have the paid version, it's free, and you can research and know facts. Even about religion, even how we've been lied to, even how the religion has been used to compel us to, to have us submissive, if I may say so. Wake up, people. Wake up, because we're being fooled. Wake up to the Christ consciousness, to the higher self, so you can connect with the higher self, because that's why we are going through what we were going through. We need to wake up. If you believe on Christianity, that's on you, fine. But even Christianity, think about it. Where's the book that Jesus wrote? We always say he said, Jesus said. Where's the book what Jesus said? Keep in mind that Jesus spoke to his disciples, right? Secretly, compared to what he spoke to the public. There was things he spoke to the public. There was things that were secret that he only spoke to the side because he knew they wouldn't think he was crazy. They didn't want to believe or whatever. And I'm trying to please inform you. Check this out. When you see your brother being arrested, American, or what you may think is a legal immigrant, you'll know that. Put it live on Facebook, on TikTok. So at least if something does happen, we know where we got to find who was responsible, because they are denying it. And we have many testimonies and witnesses, and the media is not covering that. We have a lot of protests where even Jews that have come forward that says not in our name. We have military servicemen that have come forward, many protesters, and they're not necessary for those of Republicans. They're not necessary Democrats. They're just human beings that are concerned with what they see. Wake up, guys. Please like, comment, share. Comment, share. Share. We need to wake up the people. I can't pay to be showing this all over. You need to wake the people up. You can follow me on my YouTube channel or youtube.com/@George Almodovar. Thank you for watching. Much love and God bless. Wake up to that Christ conscience.